What are some signs that your married friend doesn't have a good marriage? Never wants to go home, doesn't like bringing their spouse as +1, speaking poorly of spouse, future plans sound more I than we, and lack of excitement around the holidays. They continually complain about their spouse in front of others, or disparage them. When my husband died, some friends admitted that they were a little jealous. They're just always in a bad mood when they're around their spouse. This was the case with my best friend. I had only ever known her after she met her spouse, and she was always so low energy, easily irritated, and generally unhappy, mostly around him. It was so much a part of their dynamic that I, shamefully, assumed that's who she was. After a nasty split, she's become so much happier, lighter, and more herself. She started telling me about all the emotional abuse, and borderline physical abuse, after he was gone. I'm very happy and proud of her for getting out of it. Never wants to go home. Lesser known symptom, working long hours habitually. I knew a guy that wasted tons of time in the office, but worked every night until 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock because he clearly hated his wife and daughters. Also works for people who spend all their time volunteering to get out of the house. They always complain about how busy they are, but they have no problem talking to you while working. Just bickering. Passive-aggressive little digs and being generally annoyed with one another. It is weird to me that so many couples I know just kinda pick at each other constantly. They just don't seem to enjoy each other's company at all. When they advise their single friends to stay single, they're constantly making snide remarks about their spouse and then saying it's just a joke. They never communicate, even over the simplest things. Feelings, plans, thoughts, life needs, etc. His wife came into the office one day and he introduced her to me as his future ex-wife with a sly smile. Yeah, they're divorced now. Look at their face when they get a cell phone call and see that it's from their spouse. Tells you everything. For me, the big sign that things had fully unraveled in my marriage when I would go out with friends and I would get absolutely obliterated drunk. I'd have so much fun being with my friends and not currently coping with my god-awful marriage that I'd just go overboard and get totally wrecked. So glad those days and that life is behind me. I promise, when you learn this, you'll see it everywhere and you'll realize how fucked up most people in relationships are. Contempt. The one thing to look for in bad relationships is contempt. This comes from Malcolm Gladwell's Blink, where he talks about Dr. John Gottman's work on relationships and marriage. I'm not going to say much on these two gentlemen's qualifications, as I can't really speak to them, but I can tell you that the takeaway has impacted my perspective and experience profoundly. Gottman came to believe there are 4 horsemen of the apocalypse when it comes to marriage: criticism, stonewalling, defensiveness, and contempt is the most powerful one. Contempt means more than just being annoyed with someone. It's deeper than disrespect. It is complete disregard to the level of disgust for the other's attempt to be. Contempt means you feel yourself superior to your partner and feel no obligation to care about them. You'll see it in these examples: a wife who won't let her husband care for the children. A husband who insults his wife's housework while redoing it. An eye roll behind their back. Passive aggression. Sarcasm. Jokes at their expense. Gottman's research indicates that contempt can predict divorce with about 90% accuracy. This jibes with my experience. An occasional joke at their expense is one thing. My wife and I do it, but you could really insert anyone's name in the joke. But when they criticize their so for the same personal thing non-stop, it starts to get telling. Like constantly telling everyone your wife is a shitty cook. If they suddenly seem really down on themselves or stop taking care of themselves for seemingly no reason. If their outlook on relationships and/or marriage had changed since getting married. if they have nothing good to say about their partner or just don't talk about them. The list goes on. Gonna out myself here, they tell you what they are hiding from their spouse. For me, it was a vape pen. I kept it in the mailbox. When the spouse doesn't respect the other spouse. Sleeping on the couch. I slept on the couch for a year because of insomnia. Got a divorce and my insomnia went away within what seems like days. They flirt a lot. A lot of unhappily married people I know are quick to flirt with anyone who seems interested because they want to feel that spark again. When one of them is out and their spouse does not stop calling them. When they don't care what the other person is doing or where they are. Basically, two people who live separate lives and live like roommates. If they're plastering social media with how happy they are, and they're so in love, and they're going to be together forever, that's a sure sign that things are in the process of going sideways. They always have guests, which obscures how little they talk to each other. This has happened to many of my friends. First they start doing a lot of things on their own without their spouse, or conversely, they always have tons of other people around. In my experience, going out with my old homie that was married, I could ever post us out at the bar or anything. If his wife saw it, she'd blow her top apparently. We went out for my 23rd a couple years ago and merely his elbow was in the video of me sipping on whatever drink I had. In a panic, he urged that I delete it before his wife seen it for whatever reason. They're divorced now. My husband's best friend literally is roommates with his wife. They are legally married. She doesn't cook, clean, or take care of the kids, she is never home, and she won't touch her husband at all, not even a peck on the cheek. Most of the time when I talk to him I feel so bad for him. When we talk on video chat with him it's just you can see his pain. He won't get a divorce because he knows she would try to take the kids to get child support. It's bad. I feel horrible for them. They say their partner's just joking with a nervous laughter when their partner clearly meant to insult them and didn't care if it was in front of their friends. My ex was so fake when we went anywhere involving other couples. But as soon as the car door closed to leave, the witch returned. My friends saw through her. She was torture. When you avoid or feel guilty talking about how happy you are or about the nice/thoughtful things that your partner does because you know your friend can't relate. Never saying their partner's name to others, only calling them my wife/husband/partner. Using another person for emotional fulfillment. Cheating publicly in a subconscious effort to get caught. Having lengthy phone arguments with their partner while at work. Frequently not showing up to work/taking numerous lengthy breaks at work every day. Refusing to leave their partner because of the fallout that would come with it. He goes to strip clubs a lot. They talk about divorce hypothetically. When their identity is the person who is mean to their spouse. I was at a party this weekend and there was a woman who just bad-mouthed her husband and talked about how nice it was to be away from him and the kids for the night. That's like her shtick. She talks about how her kids and husband are shitty. It's such a gross personality, and it's relatively common. It shouldn't be common at all. When he or she is always swiping right on their phone, sitting next to their spouse. His hang glider now has a full-sized graphic of his spouse holding the cat on it. And he wasn't asked beforehand. He games all day and the boys are always over. She sits in the bedroom and is on her phone all day. Because they both so glued to the screens. I was the one that saw their daughter take her first steps, didn't even realize it until my buddy saw his daughter standing next to him and went nuts. But hey, they have been together now almost for 10 years and still haven't broken up, but at the same time I wouldn't call that living. They always have plans but never with their partner. They are withdrawn or secretive. If your friend is suddenly withdrawn or secretive, it may be a sign that they are having problems in their marriage. When I run into him at the shops after not seeing him for a few months, and he basically vented to the point of tears about the abuse he is receiving at home because he's had nobody to talk to in so long. She is obviously bipolar/mentally ill but refuses to get assist. The typical nothing is wrong with me. You're the problem. She refuses to get a full-time work and just wants a cutesy few hours a week. I sell cupcakes job at a bougie bakery. She wanted a kid. He wanted to wait till they were more stable, so she went off birth control anyway without telling him and got pregnant. Then she openly screams at him for getting her pregnant, his fault apparently, because she didn't realize a kid is more than taking cute selfies. Then immediately after denies the argument even happened, and gets angry at him for pointing out what she said and did. He works big hours to support them, because she won't work, but then he gets yelled at for working too much. Also yells at him for not providing enough at the same time. He's a great dad, but she gets jealous when the kid is excited to see him and has fun with him, and when he gets home he immediately starts cooking and cleaning, so then she yells at him for making her look bad. Another friend just gets nagged and insulted constantly. He doesn't even respond anymore, just head down looking defeated till it's over. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I have any male friends who are actually happy with their marriage. Not counting my gay mates though, they're happy as. But that first encounter literally turned me off marriage.